I have a feeling I'm going to regret doing this, but I'm kind of in between titles I want to actually review right now, so I'm just like doing loops of titles I like, but don't really want to make a video on them yet. In other words, I'm in a slump, and that sucks. Slumps are terrible because I either wait it out, which leads to massive drought periods, or I force myself and I end up releasing a video that I'm not happy with. But frankly, with what I want to achieve this year, I can't afford to wait out a slump. So I'm doing the latter. I'm rolling out one of the titles I don't want to make a review on and reviewing it. Because, well, frankly, my other option was, well, making another 139 ratio video. Like I said that I will talk about it again when So makes it home in that one community post, and I am sticking with it, despite how much I want to just rant about the selfie nuke and its after effects. What were we talking about anyway? Oh yeah, unslumping. Hmm. Anyway, here's Bloody Delinquent Chainsaw. Its actual name is Chimera Sukeban Chainsaw, but it's easier to say, call it by its English name. Plus, I like the directness of saying it in English. Yeah, it's the exact same thing in Japanese, but in English it sounds more direct. Because it describes the three things I like about this manga: bloody guts, delinquent girls, and chainsaws. Don't ask me why I like chainsaws, they're just cool. Anyway, Bloody Delinquent Chainsaw was my introduction to the works of Mikato. I want to say it's Mikamoto Rei, and it's definitely a guilty pleasure of mine that I left out of the Q&A last review because my brain was too clogged up by sick 14 panels, and also the meme 14 panels. 14 in general is just on my mind. Also, since I probably won't talk about it anywhere else in this script, I need to mention this synopsis purely because it mentions it inspired two live action films. Like, that's a big thing. Like, cool, this manga inspired two films. You know what other manga managed to do that? Hentai Kamen. Just saying, the levity of that achievement has immediately been taken away by the existence of the live-action Hentai Kamen films. Also, you need to watch Hentai Kamen. Those films are great. Okay, we can move on now. Bloody Delinquent Chainsaw is incredibly straightforward. A psychopathic mad genius called Nero gets bullied, reads Mein Kampf, turns all her classmates into monsters, and ends up incurring the wrath of our protagonist, Gecko, who decides to kill Nero for doing that to her classmates. That's it. And that's frankly all you need. This title is very much like Hellsing, if I was to use a more popular comparison. The plot doesn't matter, because it's an excuse for the creator to flex their creative muscles in the visual department. And if you, for some reason, choose to comprehend the plot, well, it's goofy enough to entertain you. I mean, come on, our protagonist is a mad scientist named after Emperor Nero, who is then inspired by Hitler's manifesto to effectively run a self-made fascist dictatorship where she chose anyone more stylish or beautiful than her to be her target of hate. The Nero part works on two fronts as well, and I feel like it's very deliberate. Like, Emperor Nero was known for his debauchery, but our Nero probably would have chosen to relate more to his contributions to the Roman Empire culturally. I think it works really well considering the brief backstory we get for Nero, where she thinks she's contributing to society with her modifications she's making on her classmate's dead cat, so when her contributions aren't well received, she adopts Hitler's teachings to force them to appreciate her efforts. I know I'm spending a lot of time on someone who's effectively just our villain, but I can't help myself but think about the possible inspirations for her. Plus, there isn't much to our actual protagonist. Like, you basically get everything you need to know from this one panel, and she's only going after Nero for attacking her and her classmates in turning her classmates into monsters, frankly. Oh, and she's a lesbian. That's something. I mean, there's a lot of lesbians in the story, but who cares? And also, I don't blame her when her love interest is the honor student turned cyborg that shoots pussy rockets. Let's not hang on that. We do get more of a backstory on why she's the delinquent, but frankly, I don't fucking care. I'm here because I want gory action, and this title is exactly that. If you want Bloody Delinquent Chainsaw to be summed up in one sentence, it would be the manga version of Grindhouse. This is very much in line with titles like Planet Terror, Death Proof, and Hobo with a Shotgun, to use examples people may know, although I personally think the Japanese are the best ones when it comes to these sort of titles. Especially after I watched Tokyo Gore Police, which reminded me of Keyman, so I will need to talk about that as well later this year, if possible. Anyway, this is an extremely Grindhouse horror title, as it has all the markings that makes it a, well, Grindhouse horror film. Let's go through them. We have needless amount of sexuality, women in sleazy outfit, gratuitous amounts of violence, sexualization of our monsters. Said monsters are needlessly gross and creepy, one-dimensional characters. I feel like I'm missing one though. Oh yeah, stupid, nonsensical fucking plots. Like, come on, Gecko bonding over this decapitated head, the sudden fingering of the honor student, which then turns into genuine love for her abuser, and a chainsaw duel for the climax of the first arc. And also Nero in the naked apron and gloves look is wild for this fight, but sure, let's roll with it. It's just so fucking stupid, and I love it. Also, I would love to mention that I've been solely focusing on the first act of the story. It does have, from what I remember, because I didn't actually fully read it, and we'll get to that later, it does have 2 acts, I think. It does go on for 87 chapters, though, so it might even have 3. I can't remember right now. We'll get to that. Each part is just an excuse to have delinquents being the shit out of monsters. Like, fuck it, it could have been like that one Fate manga, where it's just a collection of fights with no connecting tissue between them, and I would still love it. In fact, it kind of feels like that, because each arc feels like its own movie. There's no transitional chapters between arcs where we do filler as a break. It's just straight into doing the exact same motions again. It knows what it is, and it does it well, and that's all I fucking need. Like, okay, I've got like no segue in mind for this paragraph, so let's just talk about the actual reason why you should read this title if you weren't convinced by the things I've just said. So let's say you lack an appreciation for Grindhouse. Let's say you don't get the appeal of low-budget B-movie fun. Let's say you are totally not my friend who read the first half of the script and told me this title sounds like everything I would normally hate. If you aren't reading it for the story, or for some reason you don't care about the stupid-ass fuck fun it is providing, why should you still read it? I mean, look at it. The visual style is stunning, and it fits that Grindhouse aesthetic like a fucking T. For me, specifically, if I want to focus on the visual style here, is, the eyes. The eyes are always the first thing I look at when I look at these panels. Like, the artist took your typical big anime eyes and made them really become the core of the aesthetic. It's hard to describe, but the eyes just really work here. Especially when they remove the iris and the pupils, leaving only a whiteness to add to the character's expressions. It actually fits Nero best, to be honest, because I think it really adds to her crazy personality, especially in Act 2, where she has this sort of dead-eye look from her regeneration, so it's permanently looking upwards. I know I'm spending a lot of my little airtime here on Nero, but she's cool as a villain, and she does know how to make some cool monster designs, so, she has my respect. Fascism withstanding. Queen from Act 2, though, if we're going to move back to monster designs, it's probably my favorite monster design in the series. But yeah, I'll give props to the flesh chainsaw she makes, so we can have the epic chainsaw duel climax in Act 1. And despite a schoolgirl for mixing body horror and unneeded sexuality, like, come on, does she really need to be showing her panties? And the answer is yes. Yes, she does, because once again, Grindhouse. Actually thinking about it, a lot of the monster designs in Act 1 deserves to be shouted out. Because I don't think Act 2 really gets that many good designs. And we do start to see my... well, I do have to talk about my slight problem, and no, it's not about monster designs. So I love this manga a lot, enough to make it a manga I like to read when I'm in a slump. But when I do read it, I usually just read the first arc of the manga. I only read past the first arc, again, for the sake of this review, and eventually dropped it, because, well, here's my problem. Act 1 feels like a Grindhouse horror film in manga form, while anything beyond that act just feels like a manga with a Grindhouse horror feel. I know it's weirdly specific, but the first act, as I keep calling it, feels like its own self-contained plot. It has no fat that needs to be trimmed, and it delivers a very neat and tidy product that makes it feel like a film. Act 2 doesn't feel like that, because now there's just a lot more content now, which makes it a manga. Like, not that I dislike that, it gives us more monster designs, introduces Kimberly, who gives us some Sentai fan service, and more gory fun, and even this, I want to call it ongoing joke of the honor girl student keep blowing themselves up or seriously injuring themselves. I feel like that is definitely a running gag. I shouldn't linger on it. But, like, when I come to this title, its first act is just enough for me. So anything beyond that is just delicious extra that I unfortunately can't accommodate for. Like, don't get me wrong. Act 2 is good. But Act 1 is just perfect. And I feel like anything beyond that is just... I wouldn't say pointless. It's just, like I said, it's like having a really nice dinner. You know, it makes you nice and full. And then someone gives you a equally nice dessert. It's nice, but unfortunately, I'm full from Act 1. From the nice, like, dinner. So I have no room mentally to appreciate Act 2 properly. The dessert properly. I'm getting my metaphors mixed. That's the point I'm trying to get at, okay? Like, and like I said, Act 2 is good, but I don't blame you if you want to drop this title after Nero's death in the first act. Anyway, that's your mandatory criticism for this review, so I can end this video. Because really, I have no other criticisms to level at this title outside of that. I think I made it very clear that I love this title. And those who have read this title is probably wondering why I didn't talk about its 2018 sequel, Reflesh. And that's because I'm doing the mini review in a review way too much recently. So we will save Reflesh for a later time. Maybe if I feel like forcing myself, Halloween this year. Might be sooner though, because between Messiah-chan and this, I am on a bit of a horror kick right now, so I might end up doing one more horror title so we can just have a nice trilogy going. Maybe it's time I talk about Scumbag Loser, although like I said in the last video's Q&A, I really don't like the thought of admitting that Deadtube's writer is capable of making good manga, so, I'll have to think about this one while I play Wilds.